Have you noticed how Williamson County in Middle Tennessee has grown over the past decade? Malls and office buildings now dot the landscape where farmers once tended crops. Well, there is a way to see Williamson County the way it used to be, thanks to a museum Susan Watson discovered in Franklin.
It's a walk down memory lane, a window into the past, and for this Williamson County native, a labor of love. Director Louise Lynch has been the county archivist for well over a decade.
We had been collecting things for a museum, a few things along when we were just the county archives to make it more interesting, but we just didn't have a place to display them. And we just kept collecting things, storing them in just cubby holes here and there until we had enough room to make a museum.
Thanks to the hard work of Louise, like-minded volunteers, and the generous donations of family heirlooms and memorabilia, the museum opened as scheduled on Labor Day 2006.
People just before the opening, they began to realize what we were doing, and they started bringing in boxes of articles that they said, well, my children doesn't care anything about it, or I don't have any family to really enjoy it and preserve it, and they would just start bringing in things, and we were trying to get them stationed here, and it was a madhouse for a while. Our timeline goes from the Indians on to the time of the mall, and I think that's the biggest change in our county that I've ever seen. All of the farmland, most of it is gone to subdivisions, and our mall has brought in a lot of tax dollars, but it took a lot of good land.
Very nice.
This is the latest dress shop, and we've got a lot of old things in here. I guess some of the oldest things in the museum are right in here in our clothing. And there's old treadle sewing machines, and thank goodness I don't have to use one of those now when I sew. This is the general store. Here's the bean bin. There was white beans in one, pintos in one, and chicken feed in one. Here's the chicken coop with the chickens. There's the egg crate with the eggs. And there's our loafer sitting around whittling. I'd like for you to see our log cabin here. It isn't complete, but there's 3 walls to it so that you can see how it was constructed.
The logs that form this cozy little cabin are a recent donation, taken from a property sold for development.
This is our old schoolroom, and the desks are very primitive, and I don't believe I'd want to sit on those all day. Here's our wash day, and this old washing machine, the ringers are not on it right, but there was an advertisement that I found that was dated 1886 with this old washing machine, and this is the wooden wash tub.
This is definitely pre-Maytag.
It certainly is. And those ladies up there pre-Maytag too in the pictures. Okay, here's our country kitchen. And this is the kind of little stove that my mom had when I grew up. And this is a Saturday night bathtub.
And I love the homey touches, the little curtains. Makes you want to sit down and eat some cornbread.
A beautiful collection of quilts is displayed throughout the museum, hung on walls and on racks and draped over chairs. A kaleidoscope of colors, lovingly hand-sewn together with impossibly small, perfect stitches. You may even see local quilters patiently at work on a new quilt in wooden quilting frames that have been used for generations.
The museum is easy to find here just off Main Street. And outside the museum's brick building stands an eternal flame, which honors the Williamson County men and women who gave their lives in service to their country. Inside is another fitting memorial.
I think this is great. This is the nicest display that I have been privileged to see anywhere that's dedicated this particular room to veterans.
Ed Moody volunteered for duty in June of 1942. He was sent to the South Pacific and served until January 1946. His military uniform and a photograph are on display, along with those of other young Williamson County sons and daughters who served their country in times of war and peace. He pauses to remember old friends and share his hopes for the future.
I have mixed emotions. I hope they see the need to always be prepared. I wish we had some way to sit down and talk to each other and reach some happy medium that we can live and get along one with another. We need to go back to what God told us is love thy neighbor, and he will love you back. So that's what it's all about.
A chance to reminisce, to reflect, to learn. Louise Lynch believes this museum is a place to do all three, even as the future unfolds and new chapters of history are being written.
I'm thrilled to death with it. I just wish I was 20 years younger so I could stay here with it long.